Joining me now, Johnny Reid. Hey, Johnny. You ran a great race. You ran ahead of Winsome Sears, and now it's time to fight back. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. The polling was kind of shocking because I went into Tuesday thinking, wow, we really have a shot at this, and then the final numbers were exceptionally awful, and that kind of sends you reeling when you see 5 or 6 polls and you're tied, or in one case ahead. I think there was only one big poll that showed us massively down. So that at some point we got to figure out what's going on with the polling. I talked to some of my pollsters yesterday and said, hey, I'm not beating up on you guys, but what happened here? And I guess the models, they just selected the wrong model. Is that a legitimate excuse for the numbers being so off? Looking forward, I do think it's imperative that we have people who will hold the Democrats accountable starting on January 17th when the inauguration happens and the General Assembly is in full session with all of the new radicals who have been elected, that we don't just let the mainstream press characterize this as the Democrats are delivering on their promises. No. The things they're going to deliver on are not what Virginians actually want. And we need to make sure that everybody is aware of the crazy stuff that's going to happen and the consequences of it. I suspect if they get through the plan to remove qualified immunity for police, I think you're going to see mass resignations in the first 6 months of 2026. And the people of Virginia need to know when that's happening and fully understand the consequences of it, so that we can capitalize on the horrible things the Democrats are going to do during the next election cycle.
Are we going to get your help in fighting this referendum in April with everything that we have? Because right now we're defenseless. We have no apparatus to defeat it, John.
Yeah, I'm excited about speaking out on this because I think that Virginians, the average voter who's not a political junkie, who's not somebody who's following it daily, recognizes when something unfair is happening, when something that is designed to rig the system is taking place. And I don't know what you could point to that would be more egregious than what the Democrats are proposing. Virginians did what everybody around the country should do. They codified a system that took a political map redraw and tried to make it as non-political as possible. I don't know that it's 100% possible to accomplish that, but at least Virginians attempted to do that, and they put it in the Constitution. And the fact, it's really amusing in a sick way to watch the Democrats scream about the loss of democracy and, oh my God, the tyrants and the dictators and the fascists and the Nazis. And they're obsessed with they know it's not true, but they're obsessed with throwing this language around. But then when push comes to shove, what do? They completely undermine the voters of Virginia, and they go in and torch the Constitution of Virginia. So, once you realize they're full of it, they're not telling you the truth, they're manipulating people's emotions, and this is a naked power grab. I think that it should motivate a lot of people to say enough of these folks. In my case, I just didn't, during this election cycle, I worked my butt off in person, and I never turned down an invitation to your show, along with a lot of other programs in Virginia and across the country. We've just got to redouble that effort, and we need to have a whole bunch of people singing from the same songbook to push back on this.
John, are you interested in becoming chairman of the cardboard cutout called the Republican Party of Virginia, and maybe build something? Because right now we don't have anything. It's nothing. There's a phone, there's a coffee maker, there's a beeper, there's no phone banks, there's no phone system, there's no people. They have 2 employees. It doesn't exist. You have a major state without a state party that exists. It's non-existent. Is that something you might be interested in?
I'm interested in being a part of the reboot of the Republican Party in Virginia, whatever that looks like. I think what would be helpful as we head towards the advance for the folks who aren't in Virginia, the Republicans have this thing, everybody else has a retreat. We have the advance coming up in December. I think it would be wise for every group that takes donations from, interested parties to thoroughly document what they did in the last 12 months uh, to be supportive of the individual candidates and of the Republican ticket, and to help get out the vote. If that's a part of what you're selling, let's see in very clear language, specific language, what you would claim that you did. I think everybody uh, should do that. I've tried to be so transparent because I know the people. Um, I I didn't have any big, huge donors, so I felt like all the people who were giving me $25 here, $1,000 here, in some cases $10,000. I needed to show that I was putting in the sweat equity to make that donation worthwhile. And I think before everybody moves on and just chalks this up as a loss for whatever reason. You could probably list 10 things that are hypotheticals as to why we did not achieve what we wanted to achieve. Everybody needs to show their cards and say, this is what we spent our money on, and here are the people that we utilize to accomplish these goals. And let's see whether we think that's smart. I would like to be a part of the party going forward. Virginia is my home state. This is where my family is. I didn't just move here from another state. No offense to the people who did. This is a part of who I am. And saving Virginia from the radicals who I think really want to do the state in and reconstitute it in a very different way than it's ever existed. That's something that I'm motivated to be a part of.
No doubt. John Reid with us. John Reid, former candidate for lieutenant governor, former radio talk show host. And we got to get you back here hosting our show so you can kind of flesh this out. I got a couple of days. I'll shoot you when your segment's over. Hopefully,
Okay.
you'll be in a position to do that. You do a really good job, John. But
I'm starting a podcast. Have I told you that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I'm going to try to be a little, just like you, John Fredericks. I'm going to try to influence the conversation on a regular basis. We'll see how that goes, but keep your eyes open for that.
I will. And once that's up, we'll certainly help you promote that. And
thank you.
Yeah. A couple of times on my show, you can promote it yourself and talk about it and get people involved in it. So that's all good. John, I'm very focused right now, strategically and tactically, on two things. Let's start tactically. I'm very focused on the referendum that is going to be put forth in April in Virginia to rip 4 of our Republican congressmen out of their seats and make it 10-1. Already seen the map. If you've seen this map, you're going to puke. It's disgusting.
I saw the original draw of it. It's pretty awful.
It's pretty awful, John. And and I know the Republicans are trying to beat it in court. They're not going to do that. It's not going to happen, right? So, and I believe that the Supreme Court ultimately of Virginia will wait till after the referendum. They'll just kick the can down the road. I don't think this thing is going to get beat legally. I think the only way to defeat it is we got to motivate our people in massive numbers to come out and vote no. And right now, there's not an apparatus to do that. I'm trying to start one. I'm trying to put one together. I know we got a C4 coming. Mike Young, my consultant's working on that with the 5 congressmen, and hopefully, they'll have something together soon. But I need to engage everybody in this fight because right now we don't have anything. And my fear is, we got a C4 and we're going to raise money, and then we're going to do this and that, and nothing will happen except the people that run the ads get paid a commission. I mean, you saw this in California. I mean, there was no concerted ground game to beat this, John. And we're going to have the same thing here because
and the runway
infrastructure
is pretty sure. If you think about an election in April and it's about to be December, that is not a lot of time to educate the public, motivate the public. I'll be curious as I get back on the road and start traveling around the state. And then again, the advance in December, which is an interesting collection of people. It's not mainstream voters, but I will be interested to see whether people realize exactly what has happened here. And the idea that the Democrats, every crazy nutcase, destructive idea that they had for the last 4 years that Glenn Youngkin was able to stop just because he was governor and was able to veto things. Those things are going through. And now we're counting on someone like, the former drug dealer and federal prisoner Don Scott, who it's unbelievable to me that Virginia has a Speaker of the House of Delegates. What used to be a revered position in Virginia politics is now held by a guy who was in federal prison for drug dealing. Okay, if that doesn't tell you where we are as a state, I'm not sure what does. We're going to be counting on him and his political instincts to tap the brakes a little bit, to stop crazy things from happening, higher taxes, the qualified immunity that will make the police leave the streets. And if you haven't bought a weapon, maybe you've never been to a gun range before, I will tell you, I would get out there and I would get a gun so that you can protect your family going forward, because they're going to make it almost impossible for you. And I think that's going to happen pretty quick. And new laws take effect on July 1st of next year. So they'll push this stuff through. Governor Spanberger, when she's in office, will sign them, and you'll be looking there like, what happened? So if you were one of the people who wanted to make a protest vote for whatever reason, I don't like Winsome, or I don't like John Reid, or Jason didn't do such and such, and I think he should. I just you keep your eyes open, because there's a lot that you thought was sidelined because Glenn Youngkin vetoed it, that there's not going to be one person who can stop it going forward. Not a lieutenant governor who will break the ties in the right direction, not an attorney general who will bring the legal apparatus in to try to at least contest reckless and unconstitutional legislation, and no governor to veto that. We have the potential for a dramatic rollback in a terrible way. And I hope the people who were trying to make a statement realize what statement they actually made, because it's going to be difficult going forward.
Well, we're about to pay the piper in Virginia.
Yeah.
And it's coming down the pike.
But you're right, John. I want to affirm what you're saying. If we lose the congressional seats, if this new map goes into place, as the Democrats, I think, in their power-hungry state wanted to, it will be impossible to fix things in Virginia, even if we win a statewide election going forward. Look at this 45-day voting period, which was jammed through during a crisis, during COVID, right? That's off the table for at least 4 years, and I just don't see how we fix it.
I mean, why don't we just start voting in Independence Day? Why don't we just start voting like the day after the primary ends?
Well, if the Democrats figure that they can hire staff to go to all the nursing homes,
that's right,
and start rolling the the patients out, and they get to assist them with voting. I mean, I'm just telling you, everything was on the line with this last election, and all the people who stayed home. It's your vote. You can do with it whatever you want, but there are going to be some real consequences.
Now you're going to have to, like I said, now you're going to have to face the music of what happened, and that's what's coming down the pike. Let's get hang in there, John Reid. Let's get a caller, Joe in Richmond, for John and John.
Okay, I had three things I would like to ask real quickly, and you could just pick any one of them would be fine if you have any thoughts on them. One is
Joe, can you take us off the speaker and put the phone to your mouth? So we're getting
okay.
Go ahead.
Is this better?
Yeah, better.
That's better.
Okay. Very quickly, and just pick one of the three, if you will. I heard a story on NPR. I think it was yesterday morning. It was regarding illegal aliens, and if you think in terms of illegal aliens, some people have been in the country illegally for 20 years, so they have families and things like that, but they're still not literally here illegally. That they're tending to move out of states where ICE is coming in, and they're moving to states that are more welcoming of illegal aliens. And
let's take these one at a time. I'll start and go to Reid, and also Joe, you've got your radio on or something in the background. If you could turn that off, that will be helpful. John, so Joe, Abigail Spanberger said on day one she's going to make Virginia a sanctuary state, which means no ICE. So we would assume that if you're in a state like North Carolina, where it's not a sanctuary state, or anywhere else, you're going to move to Virginia. So you guys are going to get a massive influx of illegal aliens. John, Reid, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and this is bad for working people in Virginia. These illegal aliens are going to feel like they have found sanctuary. They're not going to feel the pressure to either hire a lawyer and get their paperwork under control. I mean, I don't know what Joe's point was with the NPR story, but knowing NPR, I can imagine that they're trying to generate sympathy for people who've been in the country for 20 years and have a family. If you've been in the country for 20 years and you're illegal, why? Why did you not go get an attorney and go through the process if you have a legitimate claim to be here to become a citizen of the United States? If you've been here for 20 years, I'm sorry, what kind of sympathy am I supposed to have for you? I helped a guy get his citizenship here, and I bullied and pushed and made him go get an attorney, and I sat there for hours going over the quiz notes with him, guys from Peru, to make sure that he could be a citizen because I didn't want him deported. I liked him. He was a good guy. He was a hard worker. I felt like he would be a benefit to the country. Thank God he voted for me the other day. I did call to check on that. Like, if I helped you get your citizenship, you damn well better vote for me for lieutenant governor. But I mean, if you've been here for 20 years and you haven't got your citizenship under control, whose fault is that? That's not my fault. That's not the government's fault. That's you not taking it seriously. And at some point, everybody in the country has to demand that people obey the law. And that is not unfair to the people who don't obey the law. It's unfair to American workers. It will be unfair to Virginians. I was on the phone yesterday with a guy who says, I'll never vote for a Republican again unless you all get the housing crisis under control. I said, well, what do you mean? The housing crisis? You mean the availability of housing, the pricing of housing? Do you know what's driving a lot of this? Competition for homes. And guess who's in a lot of the base level homes that you would get in and you'd stay for 5 or 10 years and try to build up some equity? It's people who are not supposed to be in the country in the first place. So if you're a blue collar worker, or you don't have to be blue collar these days to be kind of, living paycheck to paycheck, you should look at the Democrat Party, who keep giving breaks to illegals, and say, what are you doing? You're making it impossible for those of us who are at the lower level of the economic ladder to get started building the American dream. And, at some point, everybody's got to toughen up and make some difficult decisions about how they're going to deal with these issues. I've got no problem standing up for the workers of Virginia and the working class people of America, and saying that if you're here illegally, you got to go. And I don't give a damn whether you've been here 20 days or 20 years. You've got to go.
All right, Joe, what's your second question? We'll give you 2 out of the 3.
Okay. Oh, gosh. Okay. My second question, it's hard to make a choice. It regards something concerning Tim Kaine. I've noticed that Mark Warner in the past has not been the bulldog. Tim Kaine has been the bulldog and come out, particularly against Trump appointees. And Mark Warner has been more the Virginia gentleman, so to speak. But then of late, Mark Warner has really become more of a bulldog, and I've actually got on his Facebook page, so he's come out with things almost every day, where he's been pretty tough on Trump's administration.
That's a good question, Joe. I'll start and break it down. Mark Warner's up for re-election in 2026. Number one, he can't afford a primary challenge on his left flank by one of the whack job communists in the Democrat Party that could easily take him out. If you look at what's been happening in the Democratic Party, they're the ones that vote. And so he's petrified of that. So that's number one. Number two, in 2026, he's got to motivate his base to get out. That is the liberal left-wing base. And so that's why he's been anti-Trump, and he's been like the bulldog, if you will. Tim Kaine voted to end the shutdown because it was the right thing to do. And Kaine is not up for re-election, so he didn't have to worry about it, but he's trying to get paychecks back to his constituents, which are federal workers. So that's my explanation of that. Reid?
Yeah, it would be great if Mark Warner was challenged by one of these leftist wackos. It would force him to continue to cater to them. That's what's happening. And it is interesting, the dynamic of these two election cycles between our Virginia senators. You see them kind of switch hats as necessary. Both of these men should be ashamed of themselves. And I'll tell you why. Because every day during the election cycle, Mark Warner and Tim Kaine went out and complained about how the shutdown was destroying Virginia's economy and hurting the people of Virginia. And then they walked across the street from the TV studio to the Senate chamber, and they did this. They voted no about reopening the government. So I'm sorry, you can't have it both ways, guys. You can't go on the big network TV shows as a U.S. senator. You're the only people who can fix this. There are 100 of you. That's it. You're the ones who can fix this, and complain about how it's doing damage to the Virginia economy, and then walk across the street and say, yeah, but let's continue just through the election so that people are angry. I shook probably 600 hands at the Henrico County, my home county, Henrico County, on the Saturday before the election. And I bet you 100 of them said something to me about the government shutdown affecting them personally or their family or somebody they knew in the neighborhood. So the tentacles of the federal government reach deep into the community, and that was a very, very damaging thing for Republicans, certainly during this election cycle. And the Democrats knew it. This is the thing that everybody needs to remember. I, as a Republican, am not going to deliberately do harm to you in order to win an election. I won't. I'm not going to do that. Democrats have no problem doing harm to you and your family.
Yeah, because it's about power, John. They don't care about.
It's about power.
They don't care if you live or die. Okay, let's just stop the nonsense. There, it's about power and control. That's all they want. And if someone goes down in the effort, it's collateral damage.
If your business closes, if you get hurt, they did it in 2020 during COVID. They deliberately kept the economy closed. They deliberately kept your kids out of school. Why? Because they wanted to win the federal elections.
That's it.
And now they've done it again right in front of your face. Everybody needs to wake up to that. You don't want to put elected officials in office who don't mind doing harm to you.
Well, we are 1 year from Armageddon. You'll never get the House back. You'll never get the Senate back. You'll never elect a Republican statewide. And you're going to have a 10-1 Democrat majority. Yeah. The state is basically gone. I mean,
if that goes through, you're right.
And the only bulwark now is beating this referendum in April. Right. And we're about a 10-1 underdog with no infrastructure, no army, no defense. Basically, we're fighting tanks with the cavalry and a bow and arrow. I mean, we got nothing. And so we got a few months to build it. I'm determined to try to do that. And if we go down, we go down. But I'm not going to go down here sitting on my ass, hoping that, like, a cardboard cutout in Richmond with a beeper figures this out, because they're not going to do it. And I don't mean to be blunt, but this is a catastrophe. As far as going to advance, the hell would I go there for? For what purpose? Like,
well, I'm going to try to. The reason I'm going to go is I'm going to try to rally the good people who do want to be a part of this to stay engaged and not slink away. You know, I've
You
been through a lot of cycles.
You need to take over and be chairman.
Uh,
You need to be
well,
chairman. I'm for that.
I'm gonna do everything I can to try to help Republicans and conservatives and the people of Virginia going forward, and whatever the right thing is.
Out of the ashes will rise the phoenix.
Let's make that happen. Let's make that happen. Got to do it.
Hey,
I agree.
You want to you want a testimony to that saying? You're looking at him. Out
Okay.
of the ashes will rise the phoenix. I mean, 15 years ago, I think it was that 2009. When was that? 2010. What's this, 25? 15 years ago, I was homeless, living out of a car with a child. Out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. If you get up your ass, everybody, and go to work and get rid of the people that are grifting you and wasting your time, because that's what's happening. I want to bring in, because I'm a little feisty today, Johnny.
I sense that.
I'm a little feisty.
Wow.
And I'm pissed off about these HB1 visas. Let's get Joe Morrissey involved. He's got something to say to Johnny Reid. Go ahead, Joe. You're on screen.
Good morning to two of my more famous Johns in the Richmond metropolitan
Well, good morning.
area.
And I owe you a thank you for everything you did to try to help me, Joe. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thanks for saying that, but not necessarily at all. John, I want to tell you this. You ran your campaign with a degree of dignity and class, elegance that we haven't seen in a long time. You never got ruffled. You took a lot of unwarranted shrapnel at the very beginning, and you handled it beautifully. And unquestionably, of the 6 statewide candidates, you were the best. You were the most prepared. You were the most policy-driven candidate, and it didn't work out, partly, or not almost entirely, due to the 15-point delta at the top of the ticket. But I wish you good luck in what you do in the future. I hope that other candidates for statewide office in Virginia saw the manner in which you conducted your campaign and do the same thing in their campaigns. One other final point is that I heard your comment regarding Don Scott. Don and I actually had some cross hairs during my term in the Senate, but I disagree with you with the fact that he was convicted, went to federal prison, and then got out. He changed his life. What he did, and when he was in law school, was wrong. He has always acknowledged it. He has never excused it. But one of the things that we have in our country, in our Commonwealth, is we value redemption, starting over. And I'm going to one thing that you said down at Karen's House of Beauty, an iconic beauty salon in Petersburg, which, by the way, the owner called me yesterday and said, pass along my good wishes to John Reid. But you talked about second chances, and that had an impression on the people at that beauty salon. So with regard
let me just tell you, I had Don Scott on my radio program when he was going for Speaker of the House. And, I'm skeptical. Just giving people second chances doesn't mean putting them in charge of the bank or putting them in charge of the state of Virginia, in my opinion. I don't think he should dump on people and treat people badly and abuse them and make sure that they can never accomplish anything in life. But Don Scott did something during this campaign which I will not forgive, and my whole attitude about him has changed. He jumped on the garbage lies that his party was putting out about me, and made a point. He and Adam Eben, the state senator, and Mike Jones, the delegate, decided to talk about something that they knew was a lie and give that oxygen. Jay Jones did too during his debate, and I'm not forgiving of that. I am really one of the nicest people you'll ever encounter in politics. But I do not appreciate the lies, and I have a list of people who helped perpetuate those lies and amplified them in public, and I'm not going to be forgiving of that. So my attitude about Don Scott is completely. I've never ever thought that he should be in a position of authority. I don't think that's a part of the second chance concept. But after the way he behaved during this election cycle, he has created an enemy in me. Maybe he doesn't care. He's the Speaker of the House, but I'm ticked about it.
El Chapo in. Let's bring
Yeah.
El Chapo when we got Chap Peterson.